I serve here at Asbury Theological Seminary as the Dean of the Chapel. And I want to invite you into the journey of the 40 days of Lent. It's going to get started here on Ash Wednesday. We're going to be reading our way together in this reader that we've put together called In Me and In You. And I hope you have a copy of this. If you don't, you can always come online, and every day these readings will be released at asburyreader.com. And you'll also see more of these, both video and audio features released on this website. The point of this journey, let me just say a word about Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday, one of the historic texts that we always read on this day comes from the prophet Joel, the 2nd chapter. This is really the first words of the 40 days. Blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord is coming. It is near. Joel goes on to say, Yet even now, says the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning. Rend your hearts and not your clothing. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. And finally, this will show you the scope of this season. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the aged, gather the children, even infants at the breast. Let the bridegroom leave his room, and the bride her canopy. That's an intense call to worship. It's this sense of wake up. That's what the 40 days of Lent, the journey to the cross, are all about. It's that wake up, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. But every year it's the chance to go deeper in that way of the cross. The deeper we go in the way of the cross, the more of the sense of the resurrection that we will experience. So, I'm standing here in a sanctuary, in a place full of religious symbol. And in ancient Israel, in order to gather a solemn assembly or to sound an alarm, they might blow something like a shofar. Now, this is maybe not an authentic shofar, but you get the point. It's the horn of a ram. And they would, But now in our day and age, that really wouldn't mean that much to us, would it? The trouble with a season like this is that we've been at this a long time, and you see, what Lent is meant to be, what Ash Wednesday and these 40 days are meant to be, is an interruption of the pattern. But in fact, what's happened is that the pattern, the interruption, has become the pattern. And so we need a little bit different of a symbol. I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to take you to what I would think would be maybe a more appropriate symbol for these days together. Sound the alarm. Gather the people. Everything Emmy wants to pull this. But it's not Ash Wednesday yet. So, the fire alarm, that would be the kind of call that Joel was trying to get across in his own day. Everyone come together. Let's break with the tradition of our normal pattern. And let's declare a season of seeking the Lord with a deep intentionness of heart. I want to give you a watchword as we get started in this way. This is some of the words of Paul. He says this: I want to know Christ and the power of his resurrection, and to share in the fellowship of his sufferings, becoming like him in his death, and so somehow to attain to the resurrection from the dead. It doesn't really get any plainer than that. I want to know Christ. You see, these 40 days afford us a very unique opportunity to become like him in his suffering, to share, become like him in his death, to share in the fellowship of his sufferings, to literally get in lockstep with the Son of God and walk with him all the way to Calvary, not missing a step. And so in these days, as we read together, we'll be meeting back here from time to time. We'll be wanting to encourage one another. We're going to be talking about fasting and, how might we come to a richer understanding of fasting than just a sense of what we're giving up. We're going to talk about lament, a very under-realized practice, particularly in our North American culture. There's going to be a lot to learn, but we're going for a different kind of knowing. There's a difference between knowledge and knowing. And we're looking for the knowing that is beyond knowledge, and this requires a different kind of learning. So get a hold of that reader. Create yourself some space every day to engage in it. Find some way of sounding the alarm. And let's pursue Jesus together.